Hi, hey y'all. Loretta here. This episode, I did this and I should have done come back and started this. But this is okay. I've always said that my professor did not like for us to do Bob Ross's stuff. Like learn the techniques that Bob Ross has. Well, there is a main reason for that. So I had to since it was 40 years ago, I had to go and use the AI to help me. And in the previous episode, we had a bunch of tips that Bob Ross had for the professional, and that has separated them for the professional and the beginner. Well, this episode is called Why a professional or academic artist might not like Bob Ross's tips or the tips that I had on the previous episode. Okay, and I'm going to read straight off in my horrible reading what the AI, since I did research for it. Okay, it says a professional artist, especially one trained in academic or conceptual traditions, might critique the Ross inspired tips for several reasons. Number one, they the tips prioritize easy ease over vigor. Academic training often emphasizes discipline, precision, and long form study. Ross techniques are intended accessibility and fast, which can feel too simple to someone whose values slow methodological craft. So, in other words, it's so, you know, it's just because it's fast. And if you really watch it, it really is fast. Okay. Number two, they rely on format, formatic or formulatic process. Wet and wet landscapes follow predictable steps. Academic artists often push students to break formulas, invent new structures, and avoid stylized shortcuts. Um, and of course, I'm watching a anime. Uh, uh, Love is a Prism. Yeah, that's the name of it. Love is a Prism. And some of the stuff I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, let's get back to the point. Okay, number three, they do not address fundamental drawing. The tips do not address formatical drawing. Ross skips drawing from fundamentals, like gesture, proportion, perspective, value structure. Academic artists see these as non-negotiable. Actually, really true. Uh, okay, the fifth one, those tips emphasize emotional release rather than conceptual depth. Academic programs often prioritize meaning, research, and critical theory. Ross focused on joy, comfort, intuition, which can feel lightweight to someone trained in conceptual vigor. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of it, and it's like to me. Okay, number five. They the previous tips bypass traditional layerings and archive methods. Wet on wet is fast but not archival. Academic painters often emphasize fat over lean, glazing, underpainting, and long drying times. I've been watching a lot of videos, fat over lean. I'm just rewatching the videos. I technically know how to do it. It's just that it's been 40 years because I've been more experimenting. Okay, number six. The tips do not challenge the artist technically. Okay, professionals may want students to struggle through complexity, color mixing, edge control, anatomy, composure, composition, rather than rely on forgiving techniques. This gives you a clean, respectable explanation that you can do everywhere. Okay. Tweet Tweet said she had to come. Okay. And that's her mama Bill up there. Just in case y'all want to know. Okay, she doesn't feel good. Okay, let's get back to the what I was going for. Okay. Academic professional artist tips. More rigor, um, workshop aligned vision. It made me a chart basically, and I was going to do and it's a split chart. Um, let's see. The tech ow foundational drawing. The beginner academic focus. Practice gesture, contour, and value scales daily. Build adequacy before speed. Yeah, that's actually I'd love to do the gesture and stuff. Quit using me as a treat. Okay, the professional academic focus. Refined structural drawing, anatomy, and perspective to support complex composition. Okay, underpainting. Start with a monochromatic study. And it says gristly. Yeah, the word is gristly, the artist word, to understand light and form. Okay, the professional one is using use layered underpainting to control temperature, depth, and long-term archivability. Let's see, last year I started putting underpaintings on some of my acrylics and some of my watercolors too. I've been doing that. Okay, color theory. It goes into color theory. The beginning academic focus is learn warm, cool relationships and a basic palette mixing. The professional use advanced color harmonies, limited palette, and intentional temperature shifts. Edge control. The beginner practice soft, firm, and lost edge to create depth. The professional use in edge hierarchy to guide the viewer's eyes to build atmospheric relationship realism. Okay, there's some more techniques here. Okay, it's got composition. The beginner uh, study rules of thirds, balance, and simple focal points. The professional use dynamic symmetry, rhythm, and conceptual framing to create complex narratives. Okay, material mastery. Learn how brushes, mediums, and surface behave. Professional custom mediums, grounds, and surface to specify value and archival outcomes. Layering and glazing. Build painting slowly with thin layers to understand the form. The professional use glazing, scrubbing, and impasto strategy to depth and luminosity. I'm trying to look here. I got some watercolors I've been doing, and I've been putting them in the academic thing, and I'll show you them here in a minute. This one's not done yet, but okay. Critical thinking. Oh yeah, there's a lot of critical thinking. The basic or the beginner reflects on what you're painting, what are you painting, and why. The professional integrate research, symbolism, and conceptual frameworks into your work. Observation skills. Paint from life to train your eye. Still lives, simple portraits, and basic landscapes. I've been kind of doing that a little bit. The professional. Uh, Use advanced observation techniques like color spotting, comparative measurements, and optical mixing. Studio discipline. Of course, we always have disciplines. Um, Develop a constant practice habits and clean material handling. So basically, keep your stuff clean or accessible. The professional main professional workflow maintain professional workflows, documentation, and long-term prospect planning. So basically, sit there and do your work. Let me see. Okay, let's see. I mean, look, how far back should I go? Okay, in my watercolor things, I think it's been almost a week. Yeah, I think I started. Excuse me, the coffee wants to come up. I think I started doing my podcast on these things about a week or two ago. But here's what I have so far that I've done. Not using these techniques, no, just something to be done to try to get an increasing income. Uh, but this is what I got. This is, of course, a swan, and it's all in watercolor except for the pencil. I mean the marker. But and then I coated it in wax. So this is the swan that I've done, and I've done pretty much about two a day. I've done this one, and I call it Wapanoka, which is a park that's here, just about what 30 minutes away. This is actually not a photograph of it. It's just a random picture that I have in my I have a a folder that just says references, and I just used it. And for those that are listening, it's besides the swan, this one is just a bunch of cypress trees on the river and a lighting of this the cypress trees. It's just a cypress tree picture. Okay, and of course all my watercolors, after I get done with them, I do coat them with wax, but I don't use any kind of special kind of wax because I'm basically, well, I am poor. But I just use the wax that I bought a few years ago to do some canning. So it's canning wax, and I just use it like a crayon. Okay, this is my Puma, and I call it Puma 67. Just to have that on your mind. And then I have another, and it's called an American King, America's King. And then the one I did last night is a bobcat. And of course, I used ovals in it. And according to Gemini, those are considered um, natural abstraction. Okay, and then this I'm working on is just a reference photo of a toucan. I mean, a macaw. Well, anyway, I thought I would get this little thing going and everything, and feel free to subscribe because I really need the extra income badly. And I'll meet you in the next episode. I think I still has more on here that's going to come. I think the next one is going to combine all three of these uh, sets of tips that I got and going to combine them together. Uh, so be on the lookout for that. And other than that, feel just subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, uh, later.